answer questions. Thanks, guys.
Kennedy has never held public office, and some are questioning her qualifications. But a top aide to Mayor Michael Bloomberg is reportedly telling key state leaders to, quote, get on board now. Joining me now live, Susan Molinari, Republican strategist and a former congresswoman from the state of New York, and Democratic strategist James Boyce. Welcome to both of you. Susan, let me start with you. Welcome to the New York Press Corps, right?
I know. I just thought I wanted to just say maybe I need to just call her and say your treatment by the New York press is going to be a little different now, Caroline, than it was before. That's for sure.
Exactly. I want to ask you about something that Nicholas Kristof wrote in the New York Times. He said, leaping to anoint Caroline Kennedy seems to me disrespectful of so many other women in New York politics who have worked for many years in Congress and accumulated tremendous experience and credentials, like Carolyn Maloney and Nita Lowey. Is it unfair to those other women that Kennedy gets to jump to the front of the line?
Well, I think there is, to those of us who served with people like Nita, who has taken herself out, Carolyn Maloney, who's expressed interest. What about people like Jose Serrano? I mean, there's great members of the New York delegation that I worked with for many years and who have come up through the City Council, the New York State Assembly, and now have been waiting in Congress. I think the real question is, though, in watching Caroline Kennedy, will she be able to instantly get to the United States Senate and fill the shoes of people like, Senator Moynihan, Senator D'Amato, be a co-equal with Senator Chuck Schumer when it comes time to engage in some very difficult battles for New York? It's one thing to get this position by Governor Patterson, and I think this deal's already been done. I don't think somebody like Caroline Kennedy raises her head to say she wants it unless she knows she's going to get it. But when you have to get in there and nobody cares who you are or what your last name is, it's going to be my money versus your money for states and infrastructure improvements, TARP money. Does it go to the car companies in Michigan, or are you willing to get in there in a minute and say, no, this is going to be saved for the banks and the industries in New York? This is a time when on-the-job training is going to be very, very difficult. She may be up to it. I'm not saying she's not. I'm just saying I think New Yorkers need to feel more comfortable.
James, a lot of Republicans were angry that they said that about Sarah Palin, that she wouldn't be ready to have, she couldn't have on-the-job training, and that they were angry that thought it was sexist that those questions were being raised about her. Is it sexist, people asking about Caroline Kennedy's qualifications?
No, I don't think it's sexist at all. But I think, I think they're going to take away my Democratic strategist title because I agree with Susan. I think it is a little bit disrespectful for people like Nita Lowey who have dedicated their lives. I'm thinking about Barbara Boxer in California, a great female Democratic senator. She was a Marin County commissioner. She was a congressman. She moved up, and that has a lot of value. And I think in this day and age, in general, Nora, I disagree with the concept of appointing senators. I think there should be a special election regardless of the party or the person. And if I was Caroline Kennedy, if I was advising Caroline Kennedy, my advice would be, pull your name out, see what this process is really like. As Susan said, see what the New York press is really like. Run in 2010, and like your uncle and like Hillary Clinton did a wonderful job of doing, I think you should win your seat.
Susan, do you think New York politics? Can she win in 2010?
Look, clearly one of the assets she has, and I mean this not disrespectfully at all, is her ability to raise money. And that is an important objective for anyone who's going to get this seat. The governor and others are going to look and say, we're not going to give you this to take this seat for 2 years unless you can do what needs to be done to maintain this in 2 years and then, after that. So I think the one thing she can do is raise money. What she needs to do, though, because of the skepticism that we've just talked about, is can she get up and make herself and make her name known in an aggressive fight for New York fashion in such a short period of time during such difficult circumstances. That's the quintessential test. And to James's point, Senator Clinton, we saw that through this campaign. She took on Rick Lazio. She took on, Republican strategists like myself. She went to every town hall. She went to every county fair. Her listening tour was showing people she really had the moxie to get it done, if anybody even questioned that after watching her as First Lady. Caroline Kennedy's been such a private figure. Can she get her elbows in the game? I think that's the big outstanding question.
That's a good point. Susan Molinari and James Boyce, great to have both of you. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Nora.
Thank you.